Happy holidays. Welcome to a special midday edition of the PLAAY Space Live. Keith Avalon from PLAAY Games. Sam is producing this afternoon show. It's going to be relaxed. Usually I'm working from like a script or something, but we're actually in kind of casual holiday hours around here. So this stream will, I'm sure, reflect that. In fact, we may want to delete it after we're done communicating all this information. But I hope you're having a great Christmas, great holidays, enjoying time with your family. This is always kind of a down week, between Christmas and New Year's, so not a lot of work gets done, and that would certainly be applicable here. But we did have a few things we wanted to connect with you about. Speaking of the Connect, I just actually posted the Connect. That's why we're late with our stream today. So I was, we're preparing for the stream. It's like, I've got to talk about the Connect. Oh, wait a minute. I haven't written it yet. So I'm scrambling to put this together, and I did just post it. So it's got most of this information in there in printed form and some links. There's some free stuff. There's our usual photo finish. But that's the reason why we're late, because I was trying to get the Connect put together for December, and it is live. But yeah, a couple of things we want to talk about. First of all, I guess we'll start with the last few days for super early bird pricing for the convention. It's $79 through the end of the year. Then it goes up to, I want to say $129. I should know. I just looked at it. It's either $119 or $129. I know it goes eventually up to $149. It may not get there, though. I do want to say that we are ahead of pace for play passes this year. So, we've never sold out before. We came very close last year, and I think this year may be the year that we actually sell out. We have a pretty good amount of space, but my golden rule kind of in the back of my mind is we want to have a table space for everybody to be playing something. And so when it exceeds, when our attendance exceeds the amount of table space we have in the meeting room, then I feel like, that's not optimal. So we've got about 20 play passes left. And again, great savings if you buy before the end of the year. So there's that. We've got our special guest, Dave Gardner, who will be our keynote speaker. We also have a lot of guys are back again. Clay Dreslow's back from Season Ticket Games. St. Patrick, of course, will be there. James Cast from the Sportscast podcast will be there. Glenn Guzzo from the Stratomatic community. We've got Joe Bryan is going to be back again this year. Grant Fines. So the usual suspects. It's going to be another great time. And it'll be end of June. So just words of the wise, save $40 if you buy before the end of the year. So I wanted to mention that. Also, I wanted to talk about the shipping to Canada situation. It seems to be kind of in flux. Of course, the Canadian postal strike was settled couple of weeks ago now. And at the time, the word was from the United States Postal Service was, let me back up just a second. United States Postal Service suspended service to Canada when the postal workers went on strike. So, I mean, my postal software will not allow me to address anything to Canada at the moment. We did offer a UPS option for some of the Christmas sale people, and it was expensive, took a good amount of time, also added some extra customs duties onto it. So it's not exactly the greatest way to do it. We have probably about a dozen Canadian orders that are kind of sitting in limbo right now. When the strike was settled, USPS said that they would begin shipping or processing Canadian packages once again on December 23rd. Then on the 23rd, they said, no, it's going to be a little bit later. We're going to wait until after Christmas. I just checked today that now they're saying that within 2 weeks. So I mean, I really don't know what's up with it. I think they said that they say they're watching how Canada Post is processing the volume of mail that they already have, banked up from the strike. So honestly, I don't know exactly when we'll be able to ship to Canada. Hopefully, sooner rather than later. But I just wanted to let people in Canada know that we're not just twiddling our thumbs here. I'm monitoring the situation, and you can reach out to me, and I'm happy to communicate with you personally about it. But as of right now, we're just kind of sitting in limbo, waiting for that to be resolved. The moment we can ship to Canada, we will. We are releasing an end-of-the-year card set. This is something that I'm pretty excited about. I don't want to spend a lot of time talking about it because most of it is kind of documented on the website. It's Retro Bowl Binge 60. It's the College Football Bowl season from following the 1959 college season. So some of the games were played in late 1959. Several of them played on New Year's Day or January 2nd of 1960. But it kind of was sparked by my putting together the 1940 NFL season for our holiday sale, the free download. It was like an express version with individual players rated, but the substitutes are listed and not rated. There's like a substitution rule if you want to use full play. It works really well for express play. It can also be used for full play. So in doing that, I had to do some research on single platoon football because I wanted to do the 1940 season because it's the season that Ralphie's dad refers to in the movie Christmas Story. About the Bears playing the Packers. It's how Ralphie kind of got out of being in trouble for getting in a fight. Anyway, in 1940, the football was much different. It was single platoon football. You had to play both ways, and there were pretty strict substitution rules. And I found that really to be fascinating. To think that your star quarterback would also be playing defensive back, and it prompted me to kind of think of the college aspect of it, which was interesting because college football followed professional football in 1950 and going to unlimited substitution. But unlike pro football, which has evolved into a specialist mentality, for a few years college football went back to the single platoon system. They went back to two-way football in 1953, and it stayed that way for 10 years. And I was wondering why did they do that? And the answer is interesting. A lot of programs were thinking that they felt like it was very expensive. They'd have twice as many players on scholarship. So a lot of the smaller schools, the schools where football wasn't quite so important, were interested in minimizing costs. And there was also a sentiment that said, football, it's a man's sport. You got to play both ways. You can't just wimp out and rest. You got to play both ways. So there was this sentiment going on in college football for two-way football, and also the economics of it. So the long story short was college football went back to playing single platoon football, two-way football for about a decade, and it's interesting. It made it a very different game. And so this set kind of reflects that. I chose 1959 because it was, for a number of reasons. It was a historic season. It was Syracuse's undefeated season. Ernie Davis, of course, the Express, who never got to play, sadly, never got to play professional football. And there were a lot of really highly rated teams. It was an interesting. Well, here I'm breaking my rule. I'll let you read it, but I document most of this on the website. You can read the background notes about this set. But are we on the table cam? We're not on the table cam, Army. Let me just quickly show it to you. I went out. I got so excited about this set. I bought a special card stock for it. So it's like this newspaper card stock. It's not newspaper, but it looks like newspaper. It's actually a nice heavy card stock. And so this is what the set looks like. I made like a cover sheet which looks like a newspaper headline. And then there's background information about the different bowl games. There were 9 bowl games in the 1959-60 season, as opposed to, I think there's like almost 50 bowl games now. But back then there were 9 of them, and 2 of them were brand new. The Liberty Bowl and the Bluebonnet Bowl were brand new bowls. So it was a limited bowl season, and so only the best of the best really got invited to bowl games. So you get some really great teams here with some legendary players from the 1960s who will be playing their college trappings. So you get the Liberty Bowl, the Bluebonnet Bowl, the Orange Bowl, the Sugar Bowl, which was number 2 Mississippi versus number 3 Louisiana State. And then, of course, the Cotton Bowl, which is the number 1 and number 4 teams, Syracuse and Texas. So it's some really fantastic matchups. And there's I put together some liner notes about the set, which kind of goes into what I was talking about a second ago. This is what the teams look like. So you get all the starters. The reserves are listed here. So, and there are substitution rules if you want to play full play with this. And I have been playing. I started a full play game with Syracuse and Texas. It's scoreless midway through the first period. So it can be played full play. It's great for express. I played out LSU and Ole Miss, and it was a 13-7 game with LSU pulling off the win. So you can do either express or full play with this. And there are finder columns for the passers and runners and also for the kickers and punters. That to me is the most fascinating thing about it is that if you want to have a guy who's going to punt or kick, he's got to be a starter. You can't bring in somebody from the sideline to punt and then send him back. In this era, he had to be somebody who was on the field all the time. So anyway, if you look into it, you'll find it to be quite interesting. So we've got all these teams. There's 16 teams. There are 7 bowl games. The participants in 7 bowl games. The other 2 bowl games, by the way, were minor college bowl games. Not major schools, Division II. And I included 2 teams that were not invited to bowl games. One of them was Oklahoma. Where is Oklahoma here? No, where is Oklahoma? There they are. So Oklahoma did not get invited. They won their conference, but their conference introduced a rule that said you can't go to a bowl game 2 years in a row. I don't know why you would have that rule, but somebody thought it was a good idea. So they won their conference, but Missouri got to go instead of Oklahoma. So Oklahoma didn't go to a bowl game, even though they were a great team. And the other team was Oregon, which was an independent, and they were the 3rd best independent in the nation. But unfortunately, there was only space for 2 independents to go to bowl games, so they didn't get to go. But they had a great team. So you can have your own bowl game between Oklahoma and Oregon if you want. But all the other teams are here. So you can read about it online. I guess we can go back to the face cam. It's a cool set. I'm pretty excited about it, as you can see, especially the look of it. It looks like it gives you that feel of old newspaper reporting. And incidentally, I spent a lot of time, more time than I really had budgeted for this, because the only way to get information on this really is to go through old newspaper reports. I mean, College Football Reference has like the starters listed for the offensive line, but they don't tell you which offensive line position they play. Also, you don't get any information about punting or kicking or anything like that. All that has to be scoured, by actually literally going through newspapers, online, presentations and getting your 300% reading glasses on to try to read that print and figure out who's the kicker, who's the punter, who's playing right guard, who's the starter. It was really fun to do, but quite time consuming. Anyway, Retro Bowl Binge 60 for your college football pleasure as we wrap up 2024, head into 2025. Speaking of which, our look-ahead stream, once again, I want to remind you, we're not going to do it on the 2nd. We're going to do it on the 9th. I'll be out of town for the first few days of 2025, but we will have our annual look-ahead stream on January 9th, 6 p.m. Mountain Time, 8 p.m. Eastern Time, Thursday night stream, just business as usual. And we'll talk about some of the things that we're going to be doing in 2025. A very interesting and exciting year ahead, and we'll document some of that for you on the 9th. So plan on joining us then. And that is all I have for you today. Aside from warm wishes for a continued great holiday season and also our thanks for all the support and encouragement and kindness and just all around goodness of our community. It's always a joy to interact with you, and we love you all so much and are looking forward to spending more time with you again in 2025. So happy holidays, Merry Christmas. We will see you on the 9th, and if you have any questions, just hit the contact link at the top or bottom of the page on our website, or email me directly, info@play.com. So we see you again in 2025. Happy New Year! And again, thanks for being part of our amazing community of Play Gamers. We'll see you in 2025.